SD Banshee. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, gundam.tk, and as the quality of SD Super Deformed BB Senshis get better and better here, I'm talking specifically about the Unicorn Gundam number 02, Banshee, the Black Unicorn. It's time to take a look at the parts and their transformation before seeing it all put together. Remember that this is a 5-plate kit, absolutely astonishing when you go back and compare it. And it's worth building this kit up a little bit carefully, and by which I mean just don't blindly follow the X's, because otherwise you'll be wasting a lot of parts. You can see the seals there. I haven't put on all of the fancy ones. And for the main body itself, you can see the special limbs over there and the folded up face. Starting with the leg, you're going to see 3 of the main colors that are going to make up this kit here. Starting with the all black feet there, you're only going to pretty much notice them down here, but because it doesn't contrast very much with the blue, you're not going to see it all that much. But of a lot more interest is just going to be that psycho frame there, as you can see it poking through in all sorts of positions, including the front. However, the effect is still going to be disappointingly similar to Banshee kits in the past, where you're going to just be seeing a little bit of orange, and unless it's in the right light, you're not always going to see it. You are also going to have the nice little touch of a slightly metallic looking seal there on the front to provide a little bit more contrast. But in terms of mobility, the minute you try to move this, it's just going to pop right out, although you can rotate it around. But now it's time for Don't Throw Out warning number 1, because in this is similar to what you got with the original Unicorn Gundam, and you'll see that basically this is going to be for Unicorn mode and this one for Destroy mode. However, they're telling you to X this out and you might as well just throw it out. However, if you take a look at the manual, you're going to have 2 extras of these PC7s, so you might as well cut these out, put them together and keep them. And then if you want to transform the Gundam perfectly, you can even hide this inner frame invisible, though the orange is. And to flash back to the original, the 1.0 if you will here, I still remember that when I put this all together and transformed them, that the legs looked incredibly white, so I just went in there with a red marker to go and line that up. You're not going to have the same luck if you want to take the dark one over here and just paint that up, so it's great that they're going to be giving you the option, and it's almost enough to make you want to have a Unicorn version 2.0, or get this, and actually I'm talking about the new one, and paint it up in white, and then you could do this guy properly. The waist section is improved as well for the Banshee here. First of all, orange psycho frame showing through proudly on the front and on the sides. You're not going to have anything fancy here on the back, although this is going to open and close, but I just remember that if you open it up, sometimes it falls off, so you'll want to be careful with that. Lots of orange there on the inside, which is pretty much going to get lost. However, if you take a look, the original Unicorn just had this straight hip piece here, whereas this one is going to have a bent one. Hopefully that's going to lead to some cooler looking poses without the legs being a little bit awkward. And for this one though, they don't really give you an option here with these front skirts in terms of putting him back into Unicorn mode. The only thing that I can suggest again, and this is just by accident, if you take a look at my Unicorn Gundam, well, I've lost one of those red psycho frame parts on the inside, so with the all black background, especially with the leg underneath, if you popped out the orange ones, you wouldn't even know that he wasn't properly in his Unicorn mode. And besides, when you do transform him, you are going to have the option of showing off this piece as well. The chest is going to set itself apart from the regular Unicorn because it's going to have this large part here. You can agree or disagree if you wanted to have it all yellow here. They're not really going to be giving you the option. It has to be open there unless you wanted to go and actually add some plastic for yourself. However, I always find it astonishing that you can transform this SD, but you cannot transform the HG. So you can pop these 2 sides out here, and when you do that, all you have to do is take these parts and they fold down quite easily. And this is probably where you're going to see the orange psycho frame the most, as it's going to be very nice and visible. Although you can see that this yellow part here is just going to be a lot more visible than what you're supposed to be focusing on, which is on the inside there. On the back, you're going to have this nice, slightly gunmetal dark part here, and you'll see a lot of this gold part there. You can't really hide that unless you want to just take it right out to put it back in a proper Unicorn mode, if you want to call it that. One thing that's disappointing though, the beam sabers. Yes, you can see them, that they're going to be here. But if you do want to cheat a little bit, and when you see them from the front, they're going to have this hollow part, so you just reverse them, and you can actually have this part here, so that you're looking at the better side when you're looking at the front of the model, which I think we all do. And when you fold up the beam sabers here, you're not going to see all that much inner frame, so it's probably never worth taking right off, and you do have a beam magnum attachment point there. The shoulders are absolutely one of my favorite parts of this kit, just because of the cleverness here for the design. Remember though that the Master Grade, I'm not a big fan of that transformation, so anything that makes it simple and better is going to be a plus in my book. But basically, if you want to transform it, it's a little bit snug there, but you can pop that off, and then what you do is you take this part off the front, and you'll notice that it's got 2 sitting positions in there, so all you have to do is move it from the back one to the front one, and you can see how this is going to reveal. The difference is that you don't just put it on here, because if you do, you'll notice that it's going to go down deep here. But the clever bit is that when you take off both tops, I've taken this one off here, and when you see this, you'll see that the peg is going to go into the tall part there. And when you plug it in, you're going to get something that's going to look good both from the sides, and you're going to see some nice orange psycho frame there. Hopefully it's going to show off a little bit more. This is one of the few parts where you're just going to see the frame without some dark blue behind it. Yeah, there's a hollow spot up there, but nonetheless simple, effective, clever, and fun to do. But here's what makes the Banshee, or at least in terms of the OVA version. First of all, you're going to be getting different manipulators here. This would belong to the Unicorn Gundam. Here you've got the all blue hands. But basically, you're going to want to be careful here. You're not going to get any posability with the elbows, which is something that we've seen on more and more SD kits lately. The wrist is going to rotate a little bit, but that's about it. But all the focus is going to be on the BS, which is very cool here. As you can see it in its folded up position. And when you fold it down here, you can see that it's going to click nice and satisfactory there, and here you get to expose the cool parts, because when you pull this part out here, it's a little snug, but that's definitely a good thing, and you're going to reveal bang, 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 gold seals there. There aren't that many gold seals from the sticker sheet, nonetheless. They're definitely used cleverly here, and you can open up this part on the same thing. You're not going to see the one on the back, of course, but nonetheless, the fact that they've gone to the effort to add a little bit of bling on the inside here, it just is going to look even cooler, because remember, you've already got the orange and the yellow, and now the shiny gold, definitely going to help stand out against an otherwise dark body. The VN is going to be almost as cool, if not more so over here, as when you put it together, it's going to look like an absolute beast of a hand for an SD. If you want to go back and see this compared to the Crossbone, you would just laugh at the differences there. But if you do want to transform it, well, you're going to have these parts here. If you try to move them too much, it feels like they could fall off. However, you can get them in a nice up position there, but side to side, you can see that it's only going to have a few degrees of movement over there. But more impressive is going to be down here, as this actually has 2 points of movement. You can swing them all the way out there, which is going to reveal that blue hand, which is going to be a little bit dull on the inside. But then you can bring this part here and open it right up, so you can actually do a very good job of mimicking some of the famous poses that we saw in the OVA and animated. Then on to extra weapons, where for the Beam Magnum here, you already saw that this can attach onto the backpack there. And it's the kind of thing, well, if you ever wanted to do something like a full armor, why throw this out? You might as well just have this. The Banshee could use it if you wanted to take off either the BS or the VN. You've just got to be a little bit careful, because they don't want to come off all that well. But you can at least this guy get dual armed here. And how about the speculation if there ever will be a Norn, because it would probably use this and then just add on to it. But here you've got a dark shield, and if you bend those out, you're going to see a lot of nice psycho frame. It is a little bit disappointing, because when you take a look at the regular Unicorn, he is going to have some nice white seals there, which I think really add around the psycho frame there, just to sort of set this thing apart when you transform it. This one here, the orange, not so much, but remember, they're telling you not to use this at all. But again, if you wanted to go and paint this up in white, even though that wouldn't help the psycho frame, you're getting closer and closer, although still not quite at the 3. And of course, you're going to get a beam saber here in all orange, even though the hilt is still going to be orange. It's going to be hidden in the hand anyway. It is the bent variety, but it adds to the fun feel of the SDs. But in terms of fun extras, it's great that you're going to have the choice between the fun eyes over here that you see on the sticker sheet, or the more serious red ones that I put in. But this guy, you can see that he's got his serious eyes in there, but you're also going to get the option for the first time of getting these fun eyes that you can go and swap out if you buy him after the fact, or if you don't mind going in there and just taking them off and wrecking that one. But it's on to the SD head here, and this is always the most important card of a super deformed kit. And I've got to say that just the attention to details there for the face part and for the unicorn horn up there, I would say is looking spectacular. You're going to have this orange part here that's going to be built into this top part here. This is going to be custom. It's different for the Banshee than it is for the unicorn here. The faceplate here is going to have some lining opportunities. I just went through there with a brown lining marker, just a little bit of offset compared to the gold. When you put on this yellow part here, it's going to look good. The only problem is that you're going to have a chunk of seals over here that are going to be a little bit awkward to put on, as you can see from the sticker sheet here. It's just an ugly, ugly shape. However, the end result is going to be pretty good with one more seal to seal it off. But when it's on to the transformation here, you'll pop open the cranium here, and for the sides, you can take the either side of the head off there, and then you're going to go inside here and swap off the front and the back of the faces here. So you want to pop that out, and there you get your first look at the actual cooler face of the two, I would argue there, although there's definitely going to be some unicorn fans out there. Pop that back inside, close this up here, Take the sides that you'd already popped off, just rotate them around, keep them on the same side there, and when you plug these in, you can start to see where things are going. And finally, it's going to be time to take this unicorn horn there, spread it out into a proper, or ridiculously proper V-fin there, and you can see that you're still going to have this part coming forward, which is a very nice touch. It fit in very well when it's all put together, but the combination here of seeing the gray psycho frame both under the eyes there and for the goatee and on the sides of the head to go along with the well done red stickers there, this is definitely looking cool and will catch the attention of anybody's eyes when it's on your shelf, especially if you went and painted it up gold. So just from the parts, I've got to say that it's a treat to put this together, especially after building the unicorn. The fact that they go to the trouble to improve lots of things, from the new legs down there, new waist sections, the fact that you're still going to be getting all sorts of stuff. Don't throw it out, I'm sure you can use it or paint it for something. Nonetheless, parts and transformation being cool, what does it look like when it's all put together? Well, you've got a pretty good idea from the white one there, but stick around to see it in both of its mode with the MS and final thoughts in the final video coming up, and thanks for watching. Sorry Banshee, your clear parts hardly visible. I do them right by wearing them all on the outside.